Lots of stuff. Yeah. Somehow, I have to say it. I'm Polish in general, and for past yeah, for quite some time I've been making a lot of Russians, and it's like, and it feels like it's like a torture, isn't it? So I'm trying to make them as nice as possible, but then I'm adding some bits and pieces that I kind of hope that people, when they look at this through, they will have a read what was in my head when I was making it. So that's it. Politically incorrect a little bit.
Yeah, we can have a lot of politically incorrect fun with the Wojtec. I don't know if you were here last year, but we went through all the forces and went like, ooh, what politically incorrect rules, army special rules we could give to every country, and it got very unpublishable very quickly. So we shouldn't repeat that. Yes,
I was the only one who does.
No, it was me and Paul Sawyer, and yes, we.
Okay.
It's just like maybe we should edit some of this out. You get very un-PC very quickly. Yes.
But there's still bomb dogs in the rules.
Yes. Well, I mean, if it's historical, it's a. Actually, that's a serious point. There's a lot of stuff in during World War II where you kind of go. Do you put SS troops? Yes, no. Do you put so there's like, I think Warlord, the policy for Warlord, if it was out in history, if it existed, yes, we do it, as long as it's obviously to do with warfare, not with genocide. So whereas Rick Priestley definitely captured that very well, is what's acceptable in a war game. You always portray armed people against armed people. You never portray armed people against unarmed people, against people who can all defend themselves. So that's the thing. Yeah. But war games are, unlike reality, are fair. There's always the same amount of points, right? So
I like to sculpt them more like in a comic-alike style. So they are more like, at the end of the day, they are toys. And we play games with them. It's like you don't want to portray necessarily the cruelty and, the bloody stuff, although I know there's an appeal to it, but yeah.
I think
the guns versus guns makes a lot of sense.
And you did sculpt a bear, didn't you? Called Wojtec. So that's Wojtec sculpting Wojtec.
It's like people are asking me, is it I was named after the bear? It's like, no, I was named after me.
Which came first, the sculptor or the bear?
It's the name that's been used for humans, and they used it for a bear. So.
Does it have meaning?
Kind of, from a very old-fashioned Polish. Yeah. It means kind of happy warrior.
Happy warrior.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wojtec.
Happy warrior. Alessio is Greek from defender, like Alexandros would be defender of men. So Alessio is defender. The guard, like protector.
Well, we can identify ourselves with something.
Protector and happy soldier, happy warrior. Cool. Very good. Guys, any questions? Anything? Yeah.
Yeah, with regards to the upcoming books, I noticed in the cabinet upstairs there's some Korean War weapons teams. Is that an indicator of an updated book?
Not certainly not within this window that I talked to you about. No, I know that. John Russell will just go, when are we doing Korea every second? So I guess yes, but first I think the most important thing would be to go through all of this, because the main driver is to cover existing ranges of models. So that's the really urgent thing. And after that, the stuff that doesn't have a range will be covered probably quicker with PDFs, with digital product, not more paper product, in the light of then making more ranges and then publishing by paper support product. We try to make that distinction. If Warlord sells miniatures, it's got a book. If there are no miniatures, then it's probably digitally supported. It's not a strict rule, it's just more like a guideline. Korea, I haven't seen it on the schedule, but again, I don't have visibility of what comes after that, so I don't know. I don't know when. But at some point, yes, but...
So, I'm the poor unfortunate soul who plays French at my local.
Right.
Light ball is really hard.
Big,
The biggest thing you've got is a medium. Are we going to see free French lists including stuff like the Mass 44 and the Panthers and stuff like that they got their hands on towards the end of the war to sort of bring themselves back up to their essentially post-war state when they're initially in Korea and stuff like that?
I don't think we have. I mean, we haven't done it yet. It's not. I don't think we haven't done it yet because I'm literally starting the project now. But I think the idea would be we have the Republic first before the armistice, and then which is roughly what we have now. I mean, what you are used to play with. But then we're going Vichy forces, and part of the research is understanding which of the units of the original army were actually ported over into Vichy forces. And I'm trying to read up and read that, and it seems like not a lot. Like for the Chasseurs Alpins were not basically disbanded after the things. You got Dragon Porte where they sorry for the pronunciation if everybody's French, but the Dragon Porte were not, again, didn't exist until then. After when the Free French Army gets organized and trained and equipped British American gear, then they actually basically use this motorized infantry again, and so it's a similar unit. But deciding what goes into the Vichy army and what goes into the Free French army is still not being done. So captured Panthers, I don't know. Do you know how many?
I know they started turning up sort of 1945.
Yeah, but we're talking 3, or we're talking
they became the main tank after the war for a bit.
Right.
And then we got the ARL 44, the abomination that is.
Yeah, I mean, after the war for sure, you would have a lot of German converted gear, but during the war, I think it would be mostly American gear.
I think they've got some prior to the end, but I'm not sure how many. Yeah. But can we expect to see model kits with the Mass 44?
That's the research we're doing, and as I said, it literally just started. So.
The idea came across to me like a day or two ago about making more in STL files available for people to purchase. This is all right now, it's in a stage of idea, but it would be nice if we can eventually have like our plastic set, and then when we're thinking about certain weapons, then we can produce like a selection of arms with specific weapons, and then people can subscribe to it and then download the unusual or much more niche stuff, so they can produce their own kind of units, you know, from this asset. Yeah, it's in a stage of discussing how we're going to approach this, because you know there need to be a section on the website that you will go and it's like, yeah, this sort of asset is available right now, or this sort of asset. We'll see how it goes.
And in terms of the flavors, you know, the sub-flavors in the list, I'm thinking Dragon Porte, so armored infantry. Chasseurs Alpins, so your Jäger equivalent, artillery, so mountain infantry. And for a legion, I'm thinking the same, you know, for your desert. Africa. So, yeah, maybe. But again, that is not. We're just at the very start of that. So, was there a question? Yeah.
Just thinking about the Australian New Zealand army, they had some pretty wacky tanks. Are we going to see models for them?
Well, I don't know what models, but in the book I have put the Bob Semple tank. I was just like reading about it. Just like, have you seen the thing? It's like it's made of corrugated iron, bolted together on a tractor with you know, there's like lots of people, machine guns everywhere. There's one of the positions is actually, because it couldn't lie on a corrugated iron over the engine, it was melting. The guy had a mattress and a machine gun.
So how many of those were you?
One prototype. So yes, we are slightly scratching the bottom of the barrel. It was just so entertaining. It was like, how bad can I make a bolt action tank be? Unreliable. You know, it's like all the worst rules in one thing. It's just cool. And the guy was laughing and said, yeah, well, if we put in that in, it suggested another one. I forget the name. So we have another prototype thing. It was like a railway type
Is it the New Zealand one where it's got wheels and tracks?
That's the one. They sent one prototype to Britain, and the British were like, yeah, nice, yeah, no. We're using these steward things that from the US. Forget about this. Thank you. Good.
What was the main approach to differing the army rules and lists between the Great Britain and armies of Commonwealth?
Well, the book has 6 army lists, and these army lists where you get in a section. So, say for example, Canada, you have some historical information about the Canadian Army in World War II, so history. Then there's a set of army special rules which are different, so you would use different special. They replaced the armies of GB. Then there's a list of unique units that only that army has, and then there's a the guides that you have at the end of the book, which tells you early, late war. There's basically effectively a guide like that, which says which of the common units from armies of Great Britain they used. So it was these are your unique your rules, your unique units, and this is the rest. And the rest is literally the name of the unit, like in one of those guides. Like, so you're Sherman 4, Sherman 3, not that, yes, this. So the whole thing. And then at the end of the book, we made a kind of a condensed version of all these. But no, it's not really. It's not even condensed. It is effectively all the entries that appear in if an army from Great Britain, if a unit from Great Britain appears in any of those lists, then it's there. So we repeated it so that the book is self-contained. You don't need armies of Great Britain. So and it repeats 6 times. So it's a big thing. And I'm sure we'll get some things wrong. I'm sure some people will go, I think you'll find that they had Crusaders A9s in the New Zealand army. It's like, oh, really? Where? When? Who? There's a lot of that, and there's a lot of converted Italian gear in the Western Desert, and so it's been again a very, very learning experience. I've learned so much.
Just when you're going forward to some of the minor powers. Currently you've got...
Sorry, we don't say that. We call them further powers. Yes.
Currently you've got Axis support for sort of Romania or Hungary. Are you looking at adding Allied support as an alternative in for some of the Allied nations like Greece, which would be viable as a British and New Zealand going in, or in the Netherlands for the Dutch East Indies?
No, as in that's not the thing I've seen, but it's an interesting idea. So when
well,
it gets to
there's a full New Zealand division went in to help the Greeks, which is probably not that much different to the Germans lending the Romanians some gear or people, and there was 8,500 Australians in the East Indies, plus Americans. There's American artillery unit and British troops as well, fighting the Japanese there, and it would just, it's for the Netherlands you can say, well, it's just the Dutch, but it's not. But they separate it as a different place. Yeah, it would just be a bit of interesting flavour, but trying to divide it up, which units you're going to select. You can't pick any British unit. If the fight only happens in 42, you can't really have a comet appearing in Greece, can you? You know what I mean?
And it's a good point. In the list, in the armies of the Commonwealth, where you have the list of which units they had, there's also each unit has next to it early, mid, late, and sometimes the early, mid, late is different there than it is in Britain, because again, this tank was sent in the Pacific sector only late war. So a tank that is available mid-war in Europe is not, but it is late war for that.
There's quite a few people who would like to maybe play Norway army, which is probably the worst from equipment point of view in the game, just from an interest point of view. But you could have Allied support, because you had French legionnaires in there, you had British
Commanders.
You even had, well, I don't think they had commandos there, there were just pre-commandos. And you also had Polish as well, with the Polish hats on in Norway.
Yeah,
So it would